Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the fall 2019 semester. And this is my privilege to welcome you at my first fall term with you. So I want to say we're very excited. I know this is not a student forum, but we are very welcoming and excited to have all of our students here for this semester. Could we give them a hand? And then I'd like to ask all the faculty in the room, full-time, part-time, would you stand? Let's give them a hand. Welcome. And then all of our CSEA classified staff, would you stand? And then if you are in a management position, like for you to stand, all of our deans, managers, senior staff, the cabinet. And if you are a visitor or community member today, would you stand? I know we have a few here. Leslie, all right, thank you. So this is exciting. We're going to have a great day today. And it's already getting started off good. I could have fooled you with my baby picture, but I forgot to send it in. You know, I was just thinking as I approached this podium this morning about a fellow that went into a pet store looking for a bird to buy. And when he walked in, he saw this whole cage of birds, and he walked over and he looked at them, and almost all of them had a little tag hanging from them that said $4.95. And he thought, interesting, not very much. And then he saw one back in the corner, and he looked at the tag, and it said $136.50. And he thought, strange. Bird looks like all the rest of the birds. So he turned to the proprietor, and he said, hey, he said, all these birds are $4.95 except this one bird is $136.50. Is there something special about this bird? And the proprietor said, you better believe it. That bird not only sings, he talks. He said, really? He said, yeah, really. He said, well, wrap him up. I'll take him home. So he buys the bird, takes the bird home. Next day he comes back and he said, bird didn't sing and the bird didn't talk. And he said, well, he did here. He said, well, he didn't in my house. He said, well, did he peck on his little bell? He said, bell? He said, you don't have a bell? He said, no, I don't have a bell. He said, well, you have a stereo. You know, you play music. It makes you feel good. You want to sing. You want to talk. He said, the bird needs a bell. He said, well, how much is a bell? He said, oh, those are $16.85. He said, well, I'll take a bell. So he takes the bell and he goes home. He comes back the next day and he said, well, the bird pecked on his bell, but he didn't sing and he didn't talk. And he said, well, did he look in his little mirror? He said, you're going to tell me I need a mirror? He said, no, man, you have a mirror. The bird needs a mirror. He said, well, why does the bird need a mirror? He said, because, he said, you want the bird talking to himself? He said, you know, you have people, you're around, you see other people, you see people like you, and you want to talk. It makes you talkative, makes you want to sing. He said, give me a mirror. Next day he comes back and he said, the bird got up this morning, pecked on his bell, looked in his mirror, but he didn't sing and he didn't talk. He said, well, did he go up and down his little ladder? He said, why does he need a ladder? He said, exercise. If you aren't exercising, blood's not flowing, who feels like doing anything? You don't want to sing, you don't want to talk, you just want to lay there. He said, well, how much is a ladder? He said, $11.95. He said, I'll take one. He takes the ladder, goes home, comes back the next day. Bird didn't sing, bird didn't talk. Well, did he swing on his little swing? Give me a swing. Next day, comes back, says, bird's dead. He said, well, did he sing or did he ever talk? He said, you know, you'd been proud of that bird. He said, because I went over this morning, had put a little cover over, and I took the bird, I took the cover off, and he said the bird, he got up, and he went over, and he pecked on his little bell, and he went up and down his little ladder, and he stopped about halfway, and he said, and he looked in the mirror, and he said, I don't know if he smiled, but it kind of looked like he smiled. And then he just jumped over in his swing, and he was just swinging back and forth. And right before he toppled off, he looked up and said, they didn't sell bird seed? Now, you know, it is good if you can think critically about some things. You know, just kind of be inquisitive. Isn't that what we do as educators? We're supposed to be thinking. And that story is all about that. It's about, you know, I mean, who would have ever thought of buying the bird something to eat? But it's so easy to get caught up in the other things that we don't really stop sometimes and think about what we're doing, what's really best, and who are we and what are we here for. So you'll probably get, I hope you don't get tired of this, but I'm going to constantly be reminding us of our vision, our mission, our core values, our goals as an institution. So yesterday, unlike what I did last spring at our convocation, where I actually read them to you, yesterday, as I was giving thought about this morning, thinking about the bird seed, I wrote down all of the key terms from our college goals and vision and core values and mission. And these are all in there. And by the way, they were all adopted prior to my arrival. I came to this college, one of the reasons I was so interested in becoming the superintendent president here was because I saw the core values, I saw the vision, I saw the mission, I saw all of these goals, and I said, I could do that. I want to be part of that. That fits with who I believe I am. And so let me just give you some of them and think about them. We won't have time to just talk about each one, but think about each one. And here they are. One is serving. Just think about it for a second, what that means. Innovative teaching. Innovative teaching. Intellectual growth. Lifelong learning. Are you thinking? Anybody buying birdseed? Excellence. And by the way, this one comes up in almost every one of these. When we state the vision, it's there. When we state the core values, it's there. When we state our goals, it's there. Excellence. We have said as an institution, we want to be excellent. Not haphazard, not sloppy, not unresponsive, but excellent. Integrity. That's a big one. Accessibility. Collaboration. Diversity. Embracing differences. Multicultural knowledge. Wisdom. not sloppiness, wisdom. Empowering students, local prosperity, and environmental leadership. Are there any of those that you'd like to cross off the list and say, we don't need that? I think not. I'd be surprised if even one of you said, we don't need that one. We all ascribe to these things. But Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. I try to take time every day to look at myself first, to see, is there some kind of beam in my eye? Well, I try to help others get splinters out of theirs. Is there something about me that I need to look at and change and be aware of? And I think that's something that all of us need to do. And I also, not only as individuals, but as an institution, we have to stop ever so often, and we got to look at ourselves. Look in the mirror. Peck on the bell. Swing the swing, but buy the birdseed. I will say after, well, I'm starting on my 9th month with you, we have some challenges that are going to require some courageous conversations ahead of us. I wish I could just stand here and say it's all flowery, it's all good, you know, nothing on the horizon, but we are facing some challenges that we're going to have some courageous conversations. And when I say courageous conversations, we should be respectful. We should be listening. We should always treat others with dignity. Leave them, when they leave our conversations or they leave our meetings or they leave our interactions, they should always leave feeling that they were valued and they were worth. You know, we have our national documents that talk about all people are created equal. Everyone is created equal. Now, not equal ability. I mean, I would never be a Michael Jordan. And I'm saying him because he's from my generation, but I couldn't do that. So we don't all have equal ability. But we do have all equal value, and we all have equal worth, and we all matter. Each one of us matters. One does not matter more than the other. One is not more valuable than the other. One is not worth more than the other. We all should treat and act and understand, and we should see ourselves as mattering. You know? Matter to ourselves. So we have some challenges, and we're going to have courageous conversations. That means we got to get uncomfortable. You know, I was talking to the management team yesterday. You cannot, in my opinion, my humble opinion, my self-reflective opinion, you cannot have a discussion about equity and diversity that is of any value without getting uncomfortable. Because when you talk about equity and diversity, you have to, and you start talking about it in a deep, meaningful way that might bring about some change, you have to first understand we all have unconscious bias. All of us have some level of intolerance for certain folks. It's just part of being human, and it happens. It's not peculiar to America. It exists everywhere, all over the world, and throughout history. So if you talk about equity and diversity and how do we put that in our classrooms, how do we put that into our hiring practices, how do we put that into how we interact with one another every day, to have a good conversation, you're going to squirm in your seat. You're going to get uncomfortable. And so we have to have courageous conversations. We've got some state initiatives. Did anybody find it comfortable to talk about AB 705? Where's Steve Toner? Where's Bryce? Where's Bryce? Bryce, where are you? Back over here. Did you guys find that whole exercise a comfortable exercise? Did anybody disagree? Oh, they did? You had disagreements? Amazing. Who would have thought? And what about this thing they call the funding formula? You know, this game that the state plays with us that says, oh, here it is. Oh, no, just kidding you. Because they did that this last year to Victor Valley College. Maybe you don't know, but they said, hey, you guys have $10 million more. Anybody hear that? Who heard that? Oh, you thought it was $9 million, whatever, but all that? Guess what? Just kidding you. Because at the end of the year, they said, oh, no, we're going to give you $4 million less. After we had already budgeted. Anybody want to be president right now? Okay. Oh. Talk to me afterwards. I got to hear what you got to say. So we're going to have we have a limited budget resources, fiscal resources, and structural budget issues that we're going to have to deal with. And you know, I didn't show up with the answers. I told you last spring, and I've been saying it all through the year, I'm not smart enough to do this job by myself. I didn't show up with everything that needs to be known and said and done here. I come looking for partnership and collaboration and to awaken the brilliance in the room because it's out there, to get us talking, cross-talking, and interacting with one another because we can develop whatever it is we need to develop. But I'm interested in what you have to say about how we deal with our budget in the long term, not just this year, but in the years to come. And we have challenges in facing our own insecurities in regard to changes, particularly those that take us out of our comfort zone. Because, you know, change is uncomfortable, especially if it's been the way you've always done it. You know, I always thought that's a really credible argument, by the way. We've always done it that way. We've always done it that way. Anybody ever heard that? Well, I thought maybe that was just in other colleges. Okay, well, you know, that's a lot of ethos. That's a lot of credibility. That's really that's data-based. We've always done it that way. Got a lot of data behind it, right? Now, I'm not just for change's sake, because after a while, if you're just always changing, then change is the norm and change is the way we've always done it. So they taught me growing up out in the farmland of West Texas, don't ever take down a fence until you figure out why it was put up. But sometimes you got to have the conversation. Why do we have that fence? You know, if you've already sold all your cows and your horses and your pigs, what's the fence for? Maybe you don't need that anymore if you're now in a different business. So we have some challenges. And I believe, it is my conviction, that this college community will deal with these challenges and we will do well with it. I really believe that. So I have some good news today. We have seed. We went and bought seed, and the bird is alive. By the way, if you ever want to know, is the bird alive? If he's on his back and he's stiff and his legs are sticking straight up, he's dead. But the bird's alive. The bird's flying. The bird's got seed. Climbing up and down the ladder, looking in the mirror and pecking on the bell and swinging on the swing and looking up saying, thank you for the seed. This is a fun life. Our spring graduation was the largest the college has seen in recent history, perhaps ever in its history. We had an increase in 18% in the number of associate degrees awarded this year over the previous year. That's fantastic. Victor Valley College has increased its capacity in its math lab and its English writing center so that students can have more access to tutors than ever before in this semester. We bought some seed. The financial aid, Pell Grant distributions, disbursements that went out in the first week of school was 44% higher than last year. We bought some seed. This year, Victor Valley College registered the largest number of high school grads in its history, capturing 41% of the high school graduates in the high desert. 41%. And they're here right now. Our dual enrollment program is geared up, prepared, and has classes right now and is on track to grow by 25% this year. And students, you ought to get excited about that because that's a pathway. That's how you get them here. And besides that, the state pays us a lot of money for it. So you can buy seed. Victor Valley College new one-stop building is nearing completion. And the new classroom space resulting from offices moving will have additional space to handle our growth in enrollment. And we're excited about that. We're going to move in the spring. And we are up. Oh, by the way, I should say, did you know that community college enrollment nationwide is down and has been going down, 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 and is down again? Did you know that the state of California community college enrollment is down, statewide is down, even though the governor put in his budget for some growth? Not happening. But did you know that Victor Valley College is up over 5% in enrollment this fall over last fall? That's because of all of you. That's because of our services, our student services. It's because of the work of our admin services, of our human resource services, of our academic services. It's because of our classified staff who support us and our management that helps us, and the faculty who teach the students in the classroom, and the support of our community and the partnerships we have with the high schools. It's because of all that we are up 5%, and I think we ought to stand up and celebrate that with an ovation. Would you do that with me? Look over and tell somebody, I'm proud of you. Tell one of your neighbors, I'm proud of you. You did good. You bought seed. One of my great privileges as superintendent president is to work with our board of trustees. And they had an onboarding exercise with me that was mediated by or facilitated by a consulting group called PPL. And that happened in January. Well, we came back at their suggestion to do a mid-year retreat. And so we did that retreat in June. And we got together, and the board worked on its goals for the year. In addition to working on my goals, and I have mine, the board actually developed some goals. And every month on the board agenda, there is a special category at the beginning of the board meeting where the board looks at and discusses and evaluates its goals. Where is the board on its goals for the year? It's my understanding they've never really done this before, so this is a great practice that they've just started. And they developed 5 goals. And one of them, goal 1, is they want to adopt an enrollment management plan to address the issues of growth and guided pathways. These are things they decided on. They discussed this. This was a facilitated discussion. And when they got to this, they want to adopt this, which means we have to do the work, plan it, put it together, and give it to them for adoption. So let's do that. Goal 2, they want to review and adopt a new educational master plan And they added this in. Now, I'm just giving you the main goal. There's several sub-goals. And if they're not posted on the website, Michelle, we need to get them posted. I'd like everybody to see those, but and all the details that goes under them. But one of the things they put in there is they want this educational master plan developed through the participation of the entire campus. Now, while you may have groups of people working on this, everybody needs to be vetted across the campus, and everyone have a chance to chime in on our educational master plan, because that will be our guiding light over the next several years. And the goal is to have a draft of that ready to start vetting in the campus and in the community by the end of this calendar year. Goal 3 is to create stronger community relationships. Goal 4 is to remove student barriers to access, success, and completion. And I want to read you a part of this. As part of the college-wide effort to achieve recognition as an Aspen Prize winner, the board wants to support efforts for the college to be recognized as one of the top 150 colleges in the United States over the next 3 years. So, one of my jobs, one of my tasks, well, let me go to goal 5, and then I'll get to that. Goal 5 is to adopt and support the Caring Campus Initiative campus-wide, not just for one group, but for all constituencies on the campus to be part of the Campus Caring Initiative. Is there anybody that doesn't want to care? Because if you don't want to care, maybe you're laying on your back, stiff, feet up. But of course we do. So one of my jobs, as I see it, as the superintendent president, is to try to make sure that you, as an employee, have the capacity in your job, in your office, in your classroom, whatever it is you need to be effective in your job. It is my commitment to you that I am dedicated, that our faculty have the capacity to be effective in the classroom with whatever it is they need to do that. It is my commitment to you as classified staff that you have the capacity at your desk or whatever that you need to do your job effectively. It is my commitment to you as management that you have the capacity to do whatever you need to do as managers to be effective in your job. We need to be effective. It's one thing to do a job. It's another thing to be effective at that work. And I expect people to look at me and want me to be effective as the president of the college. I could do a lot of things. I could sweep the floors. I could clean the toilets. I could teach some of the classrooms. I could do this, some of the classes, and do this and that. But I'm expected to do a particular job. And I hope that I need to be effective in doing that. And thankfully, I have a board who is working with me to provide me the capacity to do that. But I want to pass that along to you. And I don't just need that from the board. I need that capacity from you. So this is reciprocal. So whatever goes on, let me tell you, it's my intention that you have capacity to be effective in your work. And I want to help do whatever I can do in our conversations, in our meetings, in our passing of APs, or whatever it is we're doing, that we help make that possible. I do believe that VVC is on course to receive the Aspen Prize, which, if you don't remember, is the nation's signature recognition for high achievement and performance among American community colleges. We're not going to get it this year, but we're going to get it, or we're going to die trying. We are going to peck on our little bell and go up and down our little ladder and look in our mirror, and we're going to eat birdseed. And we're going to stay healthy, and we're going to get there. To do that, we will have to move the needle on successful course completions, on retention within term and persistence, coming back the next semester, on degree and certificate completion of all students, closing equity gaps in our student outcomes, increasing the number of students employed at a living wage, and showing improvement over our past performances. And by the way, that particular metric is 1/3 of the measurement. So it isn't that we have to get to the place that we offer the most degrees or the most of this or that, but it is to show the most improvement. That's 1/3 of the metric. We can get there. We're going to get there. I just figure, if we have a choice, let's just go for it. Why not? I challenge us to dream big. I challenge us to reach for the stars. You say, Dan, do you know where you are? Yes, I do. I have the greatest job I've ever had in my entire life, and I'm at the greatest college that I could ever be at. This is Victor Valley College. This is in the high desert. This is a fantastic place. This is how I see the world. And you know what? If you want to be excellent, start walking excellent. Start talking excellent. Start thinking excellent. Start acting excellent. Be excellent in everything that you do. If you're not excellent in the little things, you're not going to be excellent in bigger things. I challenge us to dream big. I challenge us to reach for the stars, to think outside the box. Oh, we love that box. That's my box. I love that box. I've always been in that office. That's my building. You got to think outside the box. The way we've always done it doesn't have any data. Unless it does, then don't take down the fence. Become flexible, nimble, and change-oriented. Change for the good. Change for the students. And change for you. It'll make your job more fun. When it's not fun anymore, hey, it's time to do something else. But this is fun. I love it. We have to find ways to remain relevant in the decades to come in a very fast and changing world, or the train will pass us by. I rode the train for years in my last job living in Anaheim Hills and working in Hollywood, and I learned something about trains. They go whether you're on it or not. You can wave, you can scream, you can holler. They're moving. You didn't get there, it left. And you need to be, aware when you're on the train too. Because when it's your stop, they don't come and say, tap you on the shoulder, sir, wake up. Oh no, I've ended up down the road and thought, bleep. But yeah, no, you got to pay attention. The train's going to move. The train is moving. The train is picking up steam, and I'm hoping you're on it, because I'm on it, and I want us to be on it together. My last example yesterday, we had the President's Circle meeting from the foundation, and there was a group of 8 students there, and they had been presenting their goals to the President's Circle, and at the end, the MC went up to each one of them and asked each of the students, why did you come to Victor Valley College? And there was a couple that were, that you really could be excited about, but for the most part, it had a tenor of, well, I couldn't get in anywhere else. I didn't want to go down the hill. Well, I couldn't afford it, and so this is where my parents live. And just story after story, and I'm thinking, that's not what we want our students saying. We don't want them saying that this is like, well, I didn't have any choice, I came to this place. This is a great place. This college is way better than it has a reputation for. Way, way better. We do a fantastic job with our students. And so we have to become the first choice for students. What I'd like to hear them say down the road when a few others are interviewed to say, oh, I came here because this was the place to come to. Like one of the students said, I took dual enrollment classes in high school, and I found out that the teachers were fantastic, and I loved my classes, and I couldn't wait to come here. That was one of them that I liked. That's the college of first choice. You know why we should be the first choice? Because we are a smart choice. We're the best deal in town. We give our students for the freshman and sophomore year as good an education as they can get at UCLA or Stanford or Harvard or anywhere else for the first 2 years. They're not going to get a better education at any of the universities in those first 2 years than here. They're going to be served better. They're going to be treated better. They're going to get more hands-on. Their classes will be smaller. They have instructors that they can count on being in the classroom and not some TA in a classroom of 500 where it's all Scantron. Or like when I went up to one of my professors, 250 in the class, and wanted to talk to him about my paper, he said to me at a university, he said, I don't care about your paper. I don't know anything about your paper. If you want to talk about your paper, go talk to the TA. I don't look at them and I don't grade them. Not at our college. You don't like your grade, you want to talk about the grade, you can go talk to the professor. That's the first thing you should do, not go to the dean first. Besides that, what can the dean do? Law says the professor's grade's final. Right? We're a smart choice. We're a great choice. We're the best choice. And I say to you, Victor Valley College, let's make our students feel like in our community that this is a first choice college. A first choice.